Well, pure pace, pure fire, as you would say in Trinidad and Tobago, and iWeb don't know that kind of lingo. You spent 4 years in Trinidad, as you told me just now, right?
Yeah, I did. I did.
So what were you doing in Trinidad? Because just now you said something to me in a very colloquial Trini way. I say, well, wait a minute, I thought he Bajan.
Well, I was studying. I was at the University of the Southern Caribbean at the time. When I started, it was CUC, Caribbean Union College. And then while I
Mm-hmm.
was there in 2007, they transitioned to a university. And while there, I would have played a major part in the creation of the university song that is still sung at the university.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, that's why I was in Trinidad studying, doing my undergraduate.
So what were you studying?
I was studying music and theology.
All right.
Yes.
So this church boy, he decided to get into soca.
George, come on, man.
A church boy? No, most people start off in church anyway.
Yeah.
You get your grounding, you know what is right, you know what is wrong, and you know what I mean. You say your prayers, as Americans would say, they don't know anything, but they would say, "I do my prayers." Really, and you got yourself. But who influenced you into getting into soca music, iWeb?
Well, I actually transitioned because in Barbados we would have something at the time we have something called the Richard Stout Teen Talent Show that was pretty
Right.
popular, and there were a lot of bands when I first started out in music in Barbados. There was Synergy, that was a smaller band, a band called Double Explosion, a band called Electric, number of soca bands. Of course, the two premier bands out of Barbados at that time would have been Square One and Crossfire, and there were always people around looking for talent. And I was approached by somebody who was looking for talent for a band, and I just happened to end up in the band Synergy. And I don't know if you know Kiomal, but
Yeah.
when Kiomal transitioned from Synergy over to Crossfire, I became Kiomal's replacement in the band, and so that's pretty much how I got involved in soca.
Who inspired you into getting into this art form? I mean, somebody lit the fire, and you probably said to yourself, I could do that. I like that. And then there's another aspect to iWeb that a lot of people, as you just indicated, without me asking, you're also a writer.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I am a writer. Inspiration came from the likes of Red Plastic Bag, Gabby, the Grinders. That growing up, obviously those were the names that you were hearing a lot in Barbados.
Right.
When I got into like secondary school and stuff, you got Lil Rick, who was popular at that time as well, very influential, as well as Edwin Yearwood. So I always had a love and interest for soca music. And we talk off here just now about that Friday night television off being off. You know what I'm saying? Because we both had the SDA experience. So growing up, right, I was adamant, hell or high water. Once the Pick of the Crop finals was on, I needed to watch it. So if there was punishment for that, I really didn't care, because I wanted to see who was going to win the Calypso Monarch title. So going up for me now, that competition was the big thing back in the day. Of course, that changed again, as things always do, but that provided a lot of inspiration, a lot of impetus. And then people like Colin Spencer and Smokey Burke and these guys would have talked to me back into it, actually, because there was a time when I was at university, like we talked about, when I was living in Trinidad, right, in Maracas Valley. Right. Maracas Valley. I would go cure up and get my doubles and thing and take in the culture. Right?
Yeah.
So when I was doing my theology and stuff like that, I was kind of separated from the whole soca scene. But once I came back to Barbados afterward, people like Spencer and Bag and those would have been influential. Blood as well would have been in my ear, but man, you gotta come and do a song and coming back out and that kind of thing. So it came from different places, man.
Man is like we don't use we brain. It's like we don't use we brain.
Well, tell us about your contribution for 2023. You have a track called Brain here I have on the system. Tell me about it.
Well, Brain really is what you can say a lesson in neurology, if you want to if you want to call it that. But what it does is tie in different aspects of the human brain or the anatomy of the human brain with a number of social issues that are happening. Most people that know of iWeb through Calypso and my exploits as far as Calypso is concerned. And I don't tend to abandon what I would say would be my roots, because that's something that I believe God gave me a natural gift in terms of Kaiso and Calypso. So the song really talks about the different things that are happening and decisions that are being made, and it like nobody's is questioning them. Nobody's saying, well, look, what's happening here? This he's making a point. So the song is designed really actually to make the person think. And so it uses, like I said, the anatomy of the brain and social issues all pulled together to make this commentary and Calypso what it is. And
well,
I must tell you, the contribution of Roger Gittins, Red Boys, Shane Jones, who is the other half of Water Street Boys, to make this come together, I fell in love with it from the time I heard. Go ahead.
Well, I said, let's check it out here. We got it here and all ready to go. We got iWeb. We chatting with him. This is Primetime Crop Over. It's coming your way courtesy Chefette, Plantation Rum, Frosty's Ice Cream, and NCF. Let's check out Brain from iWeb here on Capital 99.3.
Yes, in the field of neurology, we must understand how exactly the human brain does be functioning with the decisions I see people making.
All right, iWeb, thank you for being with us on Primetime Crop Over here on Capital 99.3. And I got to tell you this, you have a good season, iWeb, and stay connected.